Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Awesome. Today we're going to unpack this AI tool called MILO,
Okay.
created by a company called We Do Vids.
Sounds intriguing.
Yeah, ever feel like you're juggling a million things when it comes to creating content for your business?
Oh, tell me about it.
Right. Well, imagine having an AI assistant that could
Yeah.
analyze your videos, generate those marketing plans, even craft social media posts for you, all while keeping your data safe and sound.
That's the dream, right?
Right. And that's what Pilo is promising.
Interesting.
Yeah. So to break it all down, we've got excerpts from their white paper
Okay.
and some background on the folks behind it.
Cool. Cool.
Oh.
It's fascinating how this small company
Yeah.
from Dayton, Ohio.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're aiming to make like sophisticated AI accessible for video marketing. They're not just talking about basic automation.
Yeah.
They're emphasizing responsible AI development with a focus on data privacy.
Okay, so before we get lost in the AI weeds,
Yeah.
let's back up a bit. Who are the masterminds behind We Do Vids and this Milo creation?
Well, we've got these leadership bios here
Okay.
to give us some insight.
Perfect.
So We Do Vids is the brainchild of Sarah Bennett
Okay,
and Brian Schaefer.
got it.
Sarah has a fascinating background.
Yeah.
She's an award-winning photographer
What?
who actually started in news photography
Oh, cool.
before moving into video in 2014.
Wow, bet she has some stories.
I bet.
Yeah.
And Brian, on the other hand,
Yeah.
started his career in the tech world at IBM, but then took a sharp turn and dove headfirst into video production.
What?
Even produced a feature documentary back in 2004.
Wait, from tech to documentaries?
Yeah,
That's quite a leap.
it is.
Maybe that's where this unique blend of tech and creativity behind Milo comes from.
Could be, could be.
Yeah, it's an interesting combo.
It is. And speaking of interesting,
Yeah.
did you know Milo is pronounced Milo?
Really?
Yeah,
Huh, I was not expecting that.
me neither.
It's catchy, though.
It is.
So now that we know who's behind it,
Yeah.
let's get down to brass tacks.
Right.
What exactly is Milo and what can it do?
Right. So the white paper describes Milo as a marketing intelligence and lead optimization tool.
Okay, that sounds pretty complex.
It does, right?
Yeah.
But essentially,
Okay.
think of it as like your AI-powered marketing assistant that specializes in video.
Okay.
What's really interesting is that it's designed specifically for video content marketing,
Right.
not just some generic marketing tool trying to do it all.
I see. That focus is probably key,
I think so.
especially for, businesses who are pouring their hearts and souls into creating video content.
Yeah, for sure.
So what can Milo actually do for video marketing?
Okay.
The white paper mentions a whole slew of features.
Yeah, it does.
So let's start with content analysis and marketing plan generation.
Okay.
You know how much time and effort goes into crafting a solid marketing plan,
Oh, yeah?
right? Well, Milo can analyze your uploaded videos and actually generate a tailored marketing plan for you.
Wow.
It's like having a marketing strategist on call 24/7.
That would be amazing.
Right, that would be a game changer for busy entrepreneurs.
Totally.
But it doesn't stop there, does it?
Nope.
What about social media?
That's where Milo really shines.
Oh.
It can create engaging social media posts,
Yeah.
optimized for various platforms,
Yeah.
YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, even the newer ones like Bluesky and Twitter, or X as it's called now.
Oh, right.
Imagine uploading your latest video
Yeah.
and having Milo automatically create attention-grabbing posts for all your social channels.
Talk about a time saver.
Huge time saver.
Seriously, it's like having a whole social media team at your fingertips.
At your fingertips.
But there's more, right?
Yes,
I read something about blog posts too.
you're right.
Okay, tell me more.
Milo doesn't just stop at social media.
Uh-huh.
It can even take your video content
Okay.
and generate ready-to-publish blog posts,
Ah.
complete with relevant keywords and calls to action.
That means you can repurpose your video content to expand your reach, boost your SEO, and engage your audience in new ways.
Work smarter, not harder. really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And speaking of working smarter,
Yeah.
what about keeping content fresh and relevant?
Right.
I know
Right.
that's a constant struggle for content creators.
This is where Milo's AI really starts to impress.
Okay.
So based on your past video performance,
Yeah.
it can actually suggest ideas for future content, keeping your strategy, fresh and aligned with what your audience actually wants to see.
No more staring at a blank screen,
No more.
wondering what to create next.
Nope.
Okay, so it analyzes videos, plans marketing strategies, handles social media,
Yes.
writes blog posts,
Yeah.
and suggests future content ideas.
Yeah.
Is there anything this AI can't do?
Well, it can't make you a cup of coffee. Yet.
Okay, fair enough.
But seriously,
Yeah.
it even tackles the world of short-form video,
Oh, yeah.
which, as you know, is exploding right now.
Oh, tell me about it. I feel like I'm constantly trying to, keep up with the latest trends on TikTok and Reels and Shorts.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It is.
But with MILO,
Yeah.
you can repurpose your longer videos into those bite-sized pieces.
Right.
Perfect for platforms like, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and TikTok. So analyzes your content and identifies the most engaging segments, making sure your video gets seen by, the right people in the right format on the right platform.
It's all about maximizing your content's reach and impact.
Wow, that's incredible. So it sounds like MILO really does handle a ton of the heavy lifting when it comes to video marketing.
For sure.
But what if you want to tweak things a bit?
This is where things get really interesting.
Oh, okay.
You can actually refine MILO's output using natural language commands.
Oh, wow.
Imagine saying something like, "Hey MILO, make this social post a little more playful."
Yeah.
Or focus on the sustainability aspect of this product in the blog post.
It's like having a conversation with your AI marketing assistant.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it is.
It feels like it really like a collaborative tool.
Thanks.
Rather than something that's trying to take over completely.
Right, and that's a really important point.
Mm.
And it ties into the bigger picture
Yeah.
of how AI can enhance, not replace,
Yeah.
human creativity.
Okay.
But before we get too deep into that,
Right.
there's one more video-related feature
Okay.
that we need to touch on.
Okay, what's that?
The enhanced video search.
Oh, right. I read about that in the white paper. It sounded like a lifesaver for anyone who, works with a lot of video content.
It really is.
Huh.
Think about how much time you waste
Oh, yeah.
scrolling through hours of footage,
Oh, so much time.
trying to find that one specific clip or quote.
Right.
MILO uses transcripts and metadata
Okay.
to make searching within your video archives a breeze.
Hmm.
You can search for specific keywords, themes, even speaker names.
No more endless scrubbing.
No
That would save me so much time.
Seriously.
So we've covered how MILO handles videos.
Yeah.
But I was also surprised to learn that it can work with photos, too.
I know, right?
Tell me more about that.
That's another area where MILO really impressed me.
Okay.
It leverages the power of AI to organize and manage your photo library in a way that was simply not possible before. Imagine being able to search your photo archive
Okay.
for clients wearing blue shirts
Yeah.
and actually finding every photo with that specific detail.
That's amazing. How does it even do that?
So MILO analyzes
Mm-hmm.
and automatically tags your photos with metadata for objects, people,
Right.
and even text.
Wow.
It uses something called OCR,
Okay.
which stands for Optical Character Recognition.
Okay. I have to admit, that sounds a little ticky.
Yeah.
Break it down for me.
Okay.
What does OCR actually do?
Think about those conference photos
It's okay.
where you're trying to remember everyone's names.
Oh, yeah?
You see their name tags and the pictures, but it's a pain to try and remember who's who.
It really is.
MILO uses OCR
Okay.
to extract the text from those name tags
Yeah.
and automatically adds it to the metadata.
Oh, cool.
Suddenly, your photo library becomes searchable by name.
That is seriously impressive.
Yeah.
So no more digging through endless folders trying to find that one photo from, last year's company picnic.
Exactly.
Okay, so and the same goes for logos, product names. Yes. Even text on signs in the background of your photos.
All of it.
It's all about making your photos more searchable
Right.
and therefore more valuable.
More valuable.
So it sounds like MILO is a powerhouse when it comes to managing both video and photo content.
I think so.
But this white paper also mentions something called a client intelligence module,
Yeah,
which is currently internal but sounds incredibly powerful.
it does. What can you tell me about that?
This is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
And it speaks to the broader potential of AI beyond just like content creation.
Okay.
Imagine an AI that constantly monitors your client's website for events, news, leadership updates, anything that might be relevant to your relationship with them. That's what MILO's client intelligence module is designed to do.
Wow. That's like having like a dedicated research team working behind the scenes 24/7.
Right.
So what do they actually do with all that information? Well, MILO takes all that raw data and turns it into actionable insights.
Okay.
It aggregates relevant news headlines about your clients from, local and national sources, even generates like concise summaries of their activities in news.
Okay. So it's like having like a personalized news feed tailored specifically to your client's activities.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm starting to see how powerful this could be.
It is.
But how does it actually like help with marketing?
So here's where it gets really strategic.
Okay.
Based on all this information, MILO can actually suggest like ways for We Do Vids to engage with their clients more effectively.
Okay.
For example, if a client just announced a new product launch, MILO might suggest creating like a congratulatory video or proposing a new video campaign to support the launch.
So it's not just about like gathering information, it's about turning that information into like opportunities for, meaningful client engagement. This is all like incredibly impressive.
It is.
But it does raise some questions about like data privacy.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
And one that the white paper addresses head on.
Good.
With all this, AI magic happening.
Right.
It's natural to wonder how MILO handles like sensitive information.
Right. Especially with all the headlines about like data breaches and AI ethics these days.
Well, no,
it feels like our data is constantly at risk.
It does.
So how do they actually ensure that, client data is protected?
Well, the white paper explains that MILO operates on their own servers via an API and uses open source AI models.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Can you explain like what an API is and why it's important for data privacy?
So think of an API like a secure messenger that allows different systems to communicate with each other without actually like sharing the underlying data.
Okay.
It's like sending a coded message that only the intended recipient can like decipher. In this case, it means MILO can access and analyze your data without sending it off to some, unknown server farm.
So it stays within, like, We Do Vids control.
Right.
Which feels a lot safer.
A lot safer.
But what about those open source AI models you mentioned?
Yeah.
What's the significance of that?
So open source means the code behind the AI is publicly available.
Right.
So anyone can see how it works. There are no, like, black boxes or secret algorithms.
Got it.
This adds a layer of transparency and accountability, which is essential when dealing with sensitive data.
That's reassuring to know.
Yeah.
It feels like We Do Vids is like going the extra mile to protect client data.
I agree.
Which is a big differentiator in the world of AI.
It really is.
It definitely is.
And it speaks to their commitment to responsible AI development.
Right.
But before we get too deep into the ethics of AI, let's shift gears and talk about the future of MILO.
Sounds good.
Right now, it's exclusive to We Do Vids clients.
Ooh.
But the white paper hints at some exciting developments.
Right. They're planning to allow clients to like upload their own content and potentially make that client intelligence module public.
Right.
That's huge.
Yeah, it is.
What impact could that have on like the marketing landscape?
This is where things get really interesting.
Okay, tell me more.
Imagine a world where any business, big or small, could use MILO to analyze their videos, gain insights into their clients, and develop like hyper-targeted marketing strategies. It could democratize access to sophisticated AI tools that were previously only available to, large corporations with deep pockets.
That would be a game changer.
I know, right?
It could like level the playing field and give like smaller businesses a real fighting chance in, the digital marketing world. And let's not forget about the potential impact of that client intelligence module going public.
Yeah.
We could see similar AI tools emerging in other industries.
For sure.
From healthcare to education to like even government.
It's pretty amazing.
The implications are mind-boggling.
They are.
It feels like we're on the cusp of a major shift in how organizations gather, analyze, and ultimately like utilize information.
Big changes ahead.
But before we get swept away by the future, let's ground ourselves in the present for a moment.
Okay.
We still haven't addressed one of the most intriguing aspects of MILO. Its commitment to like data privacy and security.
You're absolutely right.
It's a breath of fresh air in a world where
totally.
Data breaches and privacy concerns are constantly making headlines.
I know.
So MILO's approach, it's like...
It's refreshing.
It's more than just a marketing tactic.
Oh,
definitely.
Yeah.
The white paper really emphasizes that data privacy is like a core principle for We Do Vids.
A core principle.
They're not sending client data to, third-party AI services or using it to train external models.
And all stays in-house.
Which is huge.
Huge.
So many AI companies are built on like collecting and analyzing vast amounts of user data, often without like explicit consent.
It's true.
And that's what makes We Do Vid's approach with MILO so refreshing.
So refreshing.
They're prioritizing the privacy of their clients and setting a positive example for other companies in the AI space.
Absolutely.
This actually raises an interesting question.
Okay.
Could this commitment to data privacy become a competitive advantage for them?
That's a good question.
Could it attract clients who are wary of the, data-hungry practices of other AI companies?
That's a really insightful point.
Yeah.
Could definitely become like a selling point, especially for businesses dealing with, sensitive information or those who are like particularly concerned about data security.
Right.
It adds a whole other layer of intrigue to the MILO story.
It really does.
It's not just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's about the ethical considerations and the values that underpin its development.
And those values seem to be like baked into the DNA of We Do Vids.
I think so.
From their leadership team to their product development.
I agree.
It really does.
And that brings us to the most important question.
Oh.
What does all of this mean for you, our listener? How could AI tools like MILO change the way you approach content creation and marketing?
That's something we want you to think about as we move into the next part of our deep dive.
Great question.
But before we do that,
Yeah.
we want to encourage you to check out the MILO website.
It's a good one.
You can find like more information there.
Yeah.
Even some videos that show MILO in action.
Cool.
You'll find the link in the show notes.
Be sure to check it out.
We always love hearing your thoughts, too.
Definitely.
Join the conversation on our social media channels.
Yeah.
We're eager to hear from our fellow deep divers.
Always.
Okay.
So let's take a closer look at how MILO could potentially impact the future of video creation.
Yeah, let's get into that.
One way to look at it is that AI tools like MILO could democratize video marketing.
Okay.
Imagine businesses that couldn't afford, like big marketing teams, suddenly have the power to create, sophisticated campaigns, analyze their performance, and even get those insights into their clients' worlds.
It's like having an entire team of specialists at your beck and call.
I know, right?
Marketing plan generation, social media, blog posts, even client intelligence gathering.
Yeah.
These are like things that can really bog down a small business owner.
Oh, yeah.
Let alone cost a fortune to outsource. And that's where the potential disruption lies.
I think so.
A solopreneur could theoretically go like toe-to-toe with larger companies in the, content marketing arena, all thanks to AI.
Leveling the playing field.
It really does level the playing field.
Yeah.
But here's where I get a little nervous.
Okay.
Does that mean, like, human marketers are going the way of the dodo? Will robots, steal all the creative jobs?
It's a valid concern.
Yeah.
And one that's being debated across, many industries right now.
Right.
But if we look specifically at MILO, I see it less as, a job stealer.
Okay.
And more like a collaborative tool. It's not about replacing human creativity. It's about augmenting it.
So you're saying it's more like an AI partner.
Exactly.
Something that helps us be more efficient and effective, but doesn't take over completely.
That's it.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
So think of it this way. MILO handles the repetitive tasks
Yeah?
that can like suck up hours of your time,
Oh, no.
generating social captions,
Yeah.
pulling together like news summaries, that sort of thing.
Right.
This frees up you,
Okay.
the human marketer, to
Yeah.
focus on like strategy,
Right.
the big picture stuff
Uh-huh.
that AI just isn't like equipped to handle.
Right, exactly.
So instead of fearing the robot uprising,
Yeah.
we should be thinking about how to use AI to like
Yeah.
level up our own skills and creativity.
Exactly.
Right.
We can leverage tools like MILO to analyze data, spot trends we might have missed,
Yeah.
and even get content ideas flowing.
Mm-hmm.
But that human spark,
Yeah.
the emotional connection,
Yeah.
that really resonates with an audience.
Right.
That's still our domain.
It's like that saying, it's not about replacing humans, it's about humans using tools to do more.
Couldn't have put it better myself.
Oh, I like that.
And let's not forget, AI is still in its early stages.
Right.
Tools like MILO are impressive,
Yeah.
but they have, limitations.
Mm-hmm.
They're only as good as the data they're fed.
Right.
And the algorithms that drive them,
Right.
AI can't truly grasp things like the nuances of like human emotion, cultural context, or the constantly shifting trends online.
That reminds me of those bios we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Sarah Bennett, the
Sure.
photographer with like a news background,
Right.
and Brian Schaefer,
Yep.
the techie turned filmmaker.
Yeah,
Their combined expertise seems to like embody that balance
I see that.
between human creativity
Mhm.
and technological innovation
Yeah.
that MILO represents.
Absolutely. And perhaps that's the key takeaway here.
Okay.
The future of video content creation
Yeah.
isn't about human or AI.
Right.
It's about human AD AI.
Mm.
Finding the right synergy between the two
Yeah.
is where the real magic happens.
It's a bit like how Sarah and Brian
Mm.
brought their like unique skills together to create We Do Vids
Right.
in the first place.
Yeah,
And then went on to develop MILO.
exactly.
It's the blend of perspectives that drives innovation.
It is. It's almost poetic, isn't it?
It is.
Human artistry meets technological advancement.
Yeah.
All happening in like a little company from Dayton, Ohio.
You're starting to get me excited about the possibilities here.
Me too.
Imagine every business, regardless of size,
Yeah.
could have access to the tools and insights they need to create like compelling video content.
I love it.
A world where marketing is less about the hard sell
Mm-hmm.
and more about like genuine storytelling,
Correct.
connecting with audiences on a deeper level.
That's the goal.
A world where the creative process is like enhanced and amplified by AI,
Yeah,
not replaced by it.
exactly.
Now that's a future I can get behind.
Me too.
And that brings us to another crucial aspect of MILO, the future of the tool itself.
Sure.
Remember, right now,
Mhm.
it's exclusive to We Do Vids clients.
Yeah. Oh,
But they've hinted at some exciting developments,
they have.
right? They mention allowing clients to like upload their own content
Uh-huh.
and even making the client intelligence module available to the public.
Right.
That's huge.
Thank you.
Imagine businesses using MILO
Yeah.
to analyze their own video content,
Uh-huh.
getting those insights about their clients,
Right.
and then using that to create like laser-focused marketing strategies.
Yeah, that's the idea.
It's like giving everyone access to
Yeah.
the kind of data and insights that were previously
Right.
only available to like massive corporations
Oh,
with
yeah.
tons of resources.
I know.
And think about the potential ripple effect.
Okay.
If MILO's client intelligence module
Mhm.
goes public,
Yeah.
could we see like similar AI tools
Oh, for sure.
popping up in other industries,
Definitely.
healthcare, education,
Hmm.
even government?
Absolutely.
The possibilities are mind-blowing.
They are.
We could be on the verge of a fundamental shift in how organizations gather,
Mhm.
analyze,
Right.
and ultimately use information.
Huge changes ahead.
It's a brave new world out there.
It is.
And MILO is like just one example
Mm-hmm.
of the incredible, and let's be honest, slightly intimidating possibilities that AI is unlocking.
It's definitely a lot to process.
It is.
But before we get swept away by the future.
Okay.
I want to circle back to something we touched on earlier.
Okay.
MILO's commitment to data privacy and security.
Right. Yeah, it's a breath of fresh air in a world where data breaches and privacy concerns are constantly making headlines.
I know.
MILO's approach.
That's refreshing.
It seems like more than just a marketing tactic.
Definitely.
The white paper really emphasizes that data privacy is a core principle at We Do Vids. They're not sending client data to, third-party AI services or using it to train external models.
It all stays in-house.
Which is a huge deal.
It's huge.
It feels like so many AI companies are built on
like
hoovering up as much user data as possible, often without being very upfront about it.
It's true.
And it makes We Do Vids' approach with MILO all the more remarkable.
So refreshing.
They're putting their clients' privacy first.
Absolutely.
And that sets a really positive example for other companies in this space.
And I agree.
It makes you wonder, could this commitment to data privacy actually become a competitive advantage for We Do Vids? Could it be the thing that attracts clients who are fed up with the data-hungry practices of other AI companies?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
It could definitely be a selling point.
Right.
Especially for businesses that deal with, sensitive information. Or those that are, really concerned about data security. It adds a whole other layer of intrigue to the MILO story.
It really does.
It's not just about the tech.
Yeah.
It's about the ethics,
right?
The values behind it.
And those values seem to be baked into the DNA of We Do Vids from their leadership team to their product development.
I agree.
It really does.
And that brings us to the most important question. What does all of this mean for you, our listener?
Okay.
How could AI tools like MILO change the way you approach content creation and marketing?
That's something we want you to think about as we move into the final part of our deep dive.
Right.
But before we do that,
we
want to encourage you to check out the MILO website.
It's a good one.
You can find more information there, even some videos that show MILO in action.
Pretty cool.
You'll find the link in the show notes.
Be sure to check it out.
And we always love hearing your thoughts, too. Join the conversation on our social media channels.
Yeah.
We're eager to hear from our fellow deep divers.
Always.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into the world of MILO.
We've covered a lot of ground.
Brief.
From MILO's AI capabilities to the bigger questions about content creation and even data ethics in the age of AI.
It's a lot.
It is. So now, as we wrap up our exploration, I want to bring it all back to that thought-provoking question we posed earlier.
Okay.
Could AI tools like MILO change the way all businesses approach content creation and marketing?
It's a big question.
It is.
And the answer is likely complex and multifaceted.
Right.
But I think it's safe to say that AI is already having a significant impact.
I think so.
On marketing as we know it.
We see it everywhere.
We do.
From personalized ads that seem to read our minds.
Yeah. To those chatbots that pop up on websites. AI is, automating tasks, crunching data, spitting out insights at a scale humans just can't match.
Exactly.
And MILO is a perfect example of how this technology can be harnessed to tackle the very specific challenges of video marketing.
For sure.
It's not just about creating videos anymore. It's about creating videos that are strategically aligned with your overall goals.
Yes.
Optimizing them for, different platforms and making sure they truly resonate with your target audience.
Exactly. It's about understanding what's working, what's not, and using data to, constantly refine and improve your approach.
And that's where AI tools like MILO really come into their own.
I agree.
They can analyze mountains of data.
So much data.
Identify patterns and trends that would take us humans forever to spot.
Seriously.
And ultimately, they provide insights that can be incredibly valuable for marketers.
Yeah.
So to answer our question, yes, I think AI tools like MILO have the potential to revolutionize how all businesses approach content creation.
I agree.
But the key here is that it's not about replacing like
Right.
human creativity
Right.
or strategic thinking.
No, it's about empowering marketers,
Right.
giving them the tools and the insights they need
Yeah.
to be more efficient, more effective,
Right.
and more data-driven in their approach.
I like that.
Yeah.
So it's about freeing up
that's
time
it.
and energy
Uh-huh.
so that marketers can focus on what they do best.
Oh, yeah.
Telling compelling stories,
Yes.
connecting with audiences on an emotional level,
Absolutely.
and building brands that people truly care about.
The heart of it all.
And ultimately, it's about using technology
Uh-huh.
to elevate the creative process,
Exactly.
to create better, more engaging, and more impactful content.
That's the goal.
So, as we conclude this deep dive,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with this thought.
Okay.
Don't be afraid of AI.
No.
Embrace it. Explore it.
Learn about it.
Learn how it can help you achieve your marketing goals.
It's a powerful tool
It really is.
because the future of content creation is here,
it's here.
and AI is a big part of it.
Thanks for joining us on this journey
It's been fun.
into the world of MILO.
Yeah.
We hope you found it as insightful and thought-provoking as we did.
Lots to think about.
There is. And remember,
Yeah.
the best way to stay ahead of the curve is to keep exploring,
Keep learning
keep learning,
and keep diving deep
keep diving deep.
into the fascinating world around us.
That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for listening, everyone.
See you next time.